Tizkol Shanim Rabot. Welcome everyone. Thursday, the 13th day of Nisan 5779, corresponding to the 18th day of April. The Lighthouse Torah Project live video feed dedicated לעילוי נשמת דבורה פייגה בת שמואל, רפואה שלמה, אורה דבורה בת רבקה. The iTorah.com audio file recording dedicated לרפואה שלמה דוד מנחם בן דבורה לאה, שידוך for נחמה דינה בת חנה בתיה, and רפואה שלמה of מימון ben מסעודה among the Holim of Am Israel. We welcome everybody that came to spend the magnificent celebration of Pesach with us. Today, as I said yesterday, I would like to concentrate on the halachic aspects that will start developing from today in the evening till tomorrow in the afternoon. And Be'ezat Hashem will throw in some ideas and some halachic guidelines concerning the celebration of Pesach. But before I go any further, I'd like to finalize a concept that we started to discuss yesterday morning at the end of the class. If you remember, we discussed the idea of having salt on the Yom Tov table, like on the Shabbat table, and we mentioned several halachic areas that the salt becomes an integral part of it. For example, korbanot in the Bet HaMikdash, kashering of the meat is done through salt, dipping the bread or the matzah into the salt as well. We explained yesterday the Kabbalistic meaning of the dipping of the bread or matzah into the salt. And today, and this will be the only statement related to this topic, I'd like to speak about for a few moments the concept of doing Bedikat Hames with salt, and explain this, what it means. Stay tuned, just listen. Let me do the talking and you do the listening. There is a halacha that is brought down in the Ben Ish Hai, in the laws of Pesach, and it says, Haminhag, the tradition is in the night of tonight, the 14th of Nisan, that we walk around with the person, meaning usually the husband or the father, that is searching the hames with a tray, benotnim betocha hatichat alechem besakin, and it says, and that is the tray that the breads that we collect, we're going to put there, plus a knife, and it says that we put away the 10 pieces of bread, and the Ben Ish Hai writes that there was a tradition to add salt into the tray that you look for hames. Let's clarify. It's not mandatory to do that. It's a suggestion. But after listening to the suggestion of the Ben Ish Hai, you're going to run and do it. Because this is cheaper than life insurance. This is cheaper than seeing a therapist. Just listening. We are recording live this shiurim. So anything that I do, I say, I move, it gets automatically recorded in Shamayim and in the World Wide Web. So allow me to do the talking. If you have questions, raise your hand, and Beli Neder, time allowing, I will pause. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shehakol Nihiya Bidbaro. So, why the Ben Ish Hai brings this tradition of putting salt into the tray of searching the hames? So listen to what the Ben Ish Hai says. Be'ata'am, and the reason, the Satan benugdeh dileh mitkanein b'mizvah bedikat hames arbe. If there is one mitzvah that the Jewish people do throughout the year that the Yetzer Hara does not like, there are many mitzvot that the Yetzer Hara really doesn't like. The top one on the list is what? Learning Torah. Learning Torah, because learning Torah is the antidote of the Yetzer Hara. And I'm sure that mitzvot done with the minyan, tefillah with the minyan, tehillim with the minyan, listening to a Torah class, etc., the Yetzer Hara doesn't like. But the Ben Ish Chai says, you know which other mitzvah the Yetzer Hara doesn't like? Searching for the Hametz. Because he knows that tomorrow we're going to burn him. We're going to burn the Hametz in the morning. And the prayers say, like I'm burning the physical Hametz, enable us to destroy and remove the spiritual Hametz in our neshama, which is the Yetzer Hara. So the Ben Ish Chai says that the Yetzer Hara develops a tremendous amount of jealousy among the Jewish people, which I must interrupt what I'm saying, and I'm going to throw in a beautiful pirush from the Hida about this topic, which is suitable. You know, there is a pasuk that says, Oseh mitzvah lo yeda davar ra. In English it means that doing a mitzvah, the person will not see anything negative out of a mitzvah. So here is the Hidas Hidush, and it says, if you remember vividly that Esther Hamalka, she risked her life and she went to see Ahashverosh on that fateful day. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was the second day of Pesach. The Ta'anit Esther began on the 14th, a day like tomorrow, the first day of Pesach and the second day of Pesach. That time, in the miracle, in the year of Purim, the Jewish people fasted on the Yom Tov of Pesach. To our benefit, Haman was hanged on the second day of Pesach. But it says the Hidah HaKadosh, when Shlomo HaMelech says, a person who does a mitzvah will see no evil. Who is Shlomo HaMelech talking about? Comes the Hidah and it says, Esther HaMalka. That in the zechut of Esther HaMalka, searching the Hametz in Erev Pesach, it was the great miracle of Purim. And how do we connect this to Esther? Because according to the Kabbalah, do you know why we put 10 pieces of bread in the night of tonight? Because each piece of bread represents a son of Haman. 10 sons of Haman hang, 10 pieces of Hametz. We're going to get removed of them tomorrow. But instead of doing the hanging, we do the burning. Why the burning? Why specifically when the Mishnah, when the halakha you can flush it down the toilet technically. You can go to the ocean and throw it away. But the short reason why the Bedikat Hametz is done through fire, and obviously the burning is done through fire, because fire represents the Torah. As the Pasuk says, Ner Mizvah veTorah Or. So therefore, the symbolic act of searching for the Hametz with a candle or a flashlight. I'm going to be throwing in a couple of halachic concepts as I'm speaking, so this way I don't have to go back and forth and make people dizzy. At least by the Sephardic tradition, I'm sure the Ashkenazic tradition is the same. Couple of halachot. Number one, we don't use a blowtorch to look for Hametz. We don't use a torch. We don't use a Havdalah candle to search for Hametz. One of the reasons is sakana. Maybe the flames, the fire. So the Mishnah says, or haner. One candle. Simple, easy. Halacha allows using a flashlight. Imagine yourself, you're going to go under the bed, you're going to go into the closet with a candle, you're going to start dripping wax, you're going to have an issue with your wife at home. Okay? So therefore the halakha, and at Pesach, so therefore the halakha does allow a person to use a flashlight for the search of the Hametz. So we discussed briefly the 10 pieces of Hametz according to the Hidah. According to the Kabbalah, these 10 pieces of Hametz, like there is 10 Sefirot, 10 sparks of holiness, there are also 10 powers of Tum'ah. So it's connected also to Haman, the Yetzer Hara, Amalek, etc. And it says the Ben Ish Chai, Belachen, and for this reason, to fend off the animosity or jealousy that the Yetzer Hara and his gangsters have against the Jewish people, Molichim ima bodek melach. We carry salt in the tray of the bedika. Lithot hamastinim be'amekatregim. Because the salt becomes like a bulletproof vest against the angels from the negative sources. And we discussed this yesterday. Salt for korbanot. Salt for kashering. Salt for the Shabbat table, for the Yom Tov table. And now we add one more component, suggestion. Salt for Bedikat Hames. I personally do it. And listen to the Ben Ish Hai. The Osimken, those who fulfill this tradition, Lesimana Taba, is a good omen. Sheniske leshanim rabot. You know, we wish each other Tisko leshanim rabot. What does it mean, Tisko leshanim rabot? You're basically wishing the person, may you live a long life, to be able to celebrate the holiday. And that's exactly what the Ben Ish Hai says, Sheniske leshanim rabot. We should marry to live a long life. Livdok bechol shana beshana. To be able to fulfill the mitzvah of Bedikat Hames year after year. And then your question will be, how salt connects with longevity? I understand, okay, wine, for example, okay? But what about the salt? So the Ben Ish Hai brings a pasuk from the Torah that says, Berit Melach Olam, an eternal covenant that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made with the salt. For those who may not remember, listen to yesterday's class, the final 10 or 15 minutes. I gave a shi'ur about the salt, the importance of salt in a Jewish home and in a Jewish table. And the Ben Ish Hai concludes and it says, Shehu davar hamitkayem. Salt has long life. Salt has long-lasting effect, more than any other mineral that exists in the world. So one question came through the virtual world. What about women? Of course, ladies or men have the obligation to do Bedikat Hames. Usually, in a relationship that husband and wife is at home, definitely the husband usually is the one who leads the search. But in a case, let's say that the husband is traveling overseas, or a person happens to be a single person and lives by herself, obviously you need to do Bedikat Hames, because Bedikat Hames is not like a mitzvah that has a specific time frame. The mitzvah of Bedikat Hames, although we do the search of the Hames the night before Pesach, but Bedikat Hames, technically speaking, can be done from the day after Purim. If a person is traveling 2 weeks before Pesach back to Brooklyn, the night before you leave, you do Bedikat Hames, with one difference, that you don't need to say a beracha, because Hachamim established to recite a beracha on the night before Pesach. Also, our Hachamim did not establish the obligation or the option even to recite Sheheyanu. Why you don't recite Sheheyanu in this mitzvah? If this is a mitzvah that happens once a year, how many times a year you search for the Hames? One time, the night before Pesach. Why do we say Sheheyanu? Short answer. Because we don't say Sheheyanu on something that is going to be destroyed. Since the whole purpose of searching and looking for the Hames is to gather the Hames, so tomorrow morning, God willing, we go to the centralized location for Aventura, which I mentioned inside and is outside already posted. And also you're going to get a paper tomorrow when you come in to pray. Therefore, since the eventual purpose of me finding the Hames tonight is to burn the Hames, so therefore, thank you. Thank you. So therefore, thank you. I don't say a beracha. The Ramah, Rabbeinu Moshe Isserlich, adds an added reason why we put away the 10 pieces of bread is in the event that a person will not find any Hames at home. Obviously, we hope and pray to Borei Olam that by the time we come tonight at home to search for the Hames, all the Hames is already sealed, all the hametz probably has been sold. If you did not sell the hametz, make sure to turn the form today, immediately, because tomorrow morning, mid-morning, we are going to go to the Beit Din with all the other Sephardic rabbis to sell the hametz, and Ashkenazic rabbis as well, obviously, to sell the hametz for the community. So our Hachamim created many safety guidelines in order to avoid us of seeing hametz in Pesach, owning hametz in Pesach, because seeing hametz in Pesach in a person's domain is transgressing a negative commandment from the Torah. That's why the pasuk says, "Lo yira'eh lecha hametz velo yimaseh, bal yira'eh ubal yimaseh." You say this every day of your weekdays life. When you put on tefillin, the first parasha is "Kadeshli kol bechor ve'haya ki ebiyacha." In these two parashiot, you find the mitzvah of eating matzah, the prohibition of eating hametz, the mitzvah of removing the hametz, the mitzvah of not seeing hametz, and not owning hametz during Pesach. So this is a key aspect, which I will repeat something that I said several times. And the reason why I repeat this several times is A, I always have new customers, number one. And number two, it is something that we need to penetrate it deep into our mind, that how physical all the prepping and preparations for Pesach are. Kashering, agala, mikveh, libun, whatever method of kashrut you utilize, which I'm sure we all did something in honor of Pesach, is not only about the physical, but it's also spiritual. For those that were here yesterday, remember the Rabbi Haim Palachi said, make sure to make a ga'ala to your forehead. What does it mean, haga'ala to your forehead? In plain English, teshuvah. It says, make sure not only you kasher the dishes, kasher your neshama. So this is the very, very deep and powerful message for the celebration of Pesach. One halachic clarification: even though the person searched the hametz and you say the kal hamirah tonight, nevertheless you are allowed to still eat hametz tomorrow morning. There is no prohibition, although some of us, including myself, I don't think that I'm going to eat hametz until after Pesach. Already in our home is kasher Pesach food, which I'm sure everybody more or less is in the same way. And in the synagogue, we only have hametz. So if I want to find hametz in the synagogue, I don't think that I'm going to be able to find. In my home, I don't think I'm going to be able to find hametz. But halachically, for the record, let's say you're in a hotel, right? And the hotel serves kosher breakfast, or the hotel has kosher cereal. You're allowed to go and eat the hametz, as long that it's not the time which is allocated for Miami. Unfortunately, I don't have the schedule on me. Maybe it's 10:40. 10:47? Okay, if somebody can give me a schedule from the round table, it should say the schedule for the holiday. I'd rather give you the proper time, because crossing the line of the time of Pesach, hametz is a serious spiritual flaw. So therefore, we're going to transgression. So B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to confirm the times live. So everybody needs to remember this time in order to do things in the proper. Thank you so much, young man. Hazaku Baruch. Abishu Minak. So tomorrow, Miami time only. Thank you so much. 10:47, Hazak. The disposal of the hametz should be finished by noontime. That's why the burning station for the city of Aventura will be Aventura Chabad parking lot. That is the Lubavitcher Synagogue across the street from Aventura Hospital. We are going to have the supervision of the Miami-Dade Fire Department, as well as the responders of Hatzalah, Haz v'Shalom, in the event, B'ezrat Hashem, should never happen, of smoke inhalation, etc. So as I said inside, the mitzvah is not to burn plastic. The mitzvah is to burn hametz. You don't need to wait till 12 to burn the hametz. The earlier you get rid of the hametz, the better at all levels, physical and spiritual as well. So, by the time we finish burning the hametz, we make all the preparations for Pesach, checking the vegetables, setting up the table as we discussed yesterday, But before I do that, I apologize in advance. I skip a very important detail of tomorrow morning. We know that technically speaking, we should be fasting tomorrow in honor of Ta'anit Bechorot. But our great rabbis gave us a way that we can avoid and circumvent the fasting. And this is by participating in a siyum. Siyum means the completion of a tractate of Talmud or Zohar. We do Talmud here. And Be'ezat Hashem, after the Minyanim, we are going to have different siyumim through the synagogue so the Kahal Kadosh can participate. And then we have, again, a Pesach-friendly breakfast with wine. Tomorrow, the tradition, people ask all the time, what do we do first, mezonot or geffen? Although all year long you'll do mezonot before geffen, tomorrow, based on the research that I did, is the exception. Tomorrow, the geffen becomes like the kiddush, and the mezonot becomes secondary. So when we finish the siyum, we say the blessing on wine or grape juice, and then we eat mezonot, and like this we fulfill the concept of the Sa'udah and the Siyum. According to many halachic opinions, if a father has a son that is a firstborn, should come to the Siyum, listen to the Siyum, and eat from the Siyum, and this way you take care and take a cookie home for the firstborn, a child below bar mitzvah. Someone that is over bar mitzvah, you cannot take cookie from the knis. It doesn't help. The person must make the effort of coming to the synagogue and listening to the siyumim. Baruch Hashem, tomorrow we expect to have 4 official minyanim, unofficial 5 and 6. Yesterday we had 2 more minyanim after the minyanim finished, but nevertheless, I will announce it tonight that those who need to have a siyum, make sure to attend one of the 4 official minyanim to fulfill the mitzvah properly. Also, according to some opinions, yes as well. Yes, the father should come. The father should come and listen to the siyum. Although the first boy born is the true Ta'anit Bechorot, but I saw it in writing the other day that also for a daughter, some communities have this tradition to come and to listen to the siyum. You don't need to bring a baby to the knis to listen to the siyum. Maher. Okay, it's coming. It's coming here. I'm up here now. Give me a minute. Now, we go to the morning of Pesach. We discuss the topic of siyum. We discuss the topic of burning the hametz. Remember what I told you in the earlier part of the week, that I saw it written in many places, that when you burn the hametz also, burn your problems, burn your headaches, get rid of the headaches. If you are human, shouldn't, but you may have something in your life that you like to see a different. I tell you 2 cases that I'm dealing with now. One of them came at 8:45 today. The other one came 9 o'clock last night. The 8:45 today, lo aleno velo alechem, a Sephardic Jewish boy that is involved with the daughter of a minister of a certain sect of the church, and I think that is going through a conversion to Christianity in Miami this weekend.
No way.
Yes way. Yes way. Has v'shalom, there is no such a thing halachically, but look at the power of tum'ah. That a Jewish boy, has v'shalom, a rabbi called me, says, Rabbi, we try, maybe you can help. You speak Spanish? Yes, I do. We need your help. This is the case that came to me 8:45 today. Before Pesach. We need to get rid of the hametz. Tum'ah. Huh? Okay, the last time somebody tried it, it worked. Now, I don't know this person. Yeah, I need to open the door now. Can't go like Pinchas. Understand? For those who understand, understand. And those who don't, open Perashat Pinhas. Haz v'shalom. But understand that this is the Hames. You want another Hames case? A father called me up. Says, Rabbi, my daughter, wonderful girl, I know her, but I became aware recently of what's going on in her spiritual life. Went to school, college, in New York, involved with a goy. Involved with a goy. Girl that went to the Jewish school system and the whole spiel. Involved with a goy. You understand? That is Hames. That is the real Hames. This is what we need to have in mind tomorrow. Hashem Yishmor. These are the biggest tragedies. This is the worst tragedy, that finding Hames in your home in Pesach. Because Halakha says you find Hames in Yom Tov, you cover it. That's it. Sure? Don't touch it because it's mukseh. And how are you going to feel, God forbid, if a person, there was a story about a fellow who laughed at the rabbi, Erev Pesach. What happened? The Ben Ish Chai brings the story. What happened? The rabbi reminded the Kahal, tomorrow morning, brush your teeth before Pesach. So in the event that you have any trace of Hames, let's say that you tomorrow morning, I'm going to have Hames breakfast. I don't. For this reason, by the way. One of the reasons that for years I avoid eating Hames the day before Pesach is because of the following story that I'm going to tell you now. So the rabbi made the announcement, make sure if you're going to eat Hames Erev Pesach, to wash, to clean your teeth, flosser, toothbrush, get rid of the Hames from your mouth. Beautiful tradition. By the way, you should change your toothbrush. Okay, get rid of it. I already did mine yesterday. Anything that I do, I'll try to share with the Kahal. So exactly, you have a new one. That's it. Khalas. So this fellow say, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Guess what? That night, when he was eating masa, Hames that was stuck in his teeth came out. And he was eating Hames and masa together. I'll tell you a second story. I said this, I think, in one of the classes, that the rabbi was hesitant. Should I say to the Kahal that in the night of Yom Tov, you must say Shehiyanu in the Kiddush? He says, what for? Who doesn't know this? Everybody knows. What happened that night? He forgot to say Shehiyanu in the Kiddush. Himself. He himself forgot to recite the word Shehiyanu. That's why Hacham Obadiah Yosef says, and that's what I use as a backup. Somebody asked me the other day, Rabbi, why you need to announce every night the time of Shema? That there is a class. Who doesn't know? Look at the schedule. Hacham Obadiah Yosef says there is the responsibility of the rabbi of the synagogue to remind the Kahal Kadosh the concept of halachic times. Like the gentleman just asked, what time is Hasot? 1:19. 1:19 tomorrow night, you should eat the afikoman before 1:19 a.m. It's important to know because this was the time that in the time of the Bet HaMikdash, the Korban Pesach was allowed to be eaten. Now, so let's go back. So this is the Hames cases that I have to deal with today, not tomorrow. The rabbi called me up. He says, Pikuach Nefesh. That was the message on my WhatsApp. When I hear Pikuach Nefesh, usually my brain says, okay, which hospital? In this case, in these two cases, no hospital involved. Something more dangerous, the neshama. But I'm going to ride on the Rabbeinu Ha'ari's shoulder. This is brought down in the Moed Kol Hai. And Moed Kol Hai writes, and it says, listen to this, and take advantage of the following statement. Between today and tomorrow, I wish I could have said this 30 days ago, but I'm saying it today. Rabbeinu Haim Palachi writes in Moed Kol Hai that between, listen to this, Purim and Pesach is a very powerful time to pray for people to do teshubah without talking to them. Don't talk to them. In these two cases, I must talk to them. I cannot afford to wait till the fellow converts himself to Christianity. God forbid. God forbid. This is Miami 2019. No Crusades, 1200s. Spain, 1492. We're talking about Miami 2019. And the other case comes from Brooklyn. Haz v'shalom. So no one can say, I'm off the hook. En bait asher en sham met. Every generation, every city, every neighborhood has its package of challenges. So comes the Moed Kol Hai and it says, it's very deep what he says. And I don't think that I really understand how it works. But in plain English he says, because Purim and Pesach are time of salvation and miracles for the Jewish people, every year Borei Olam takes neshamot which are captured by the Tum'ah, by the Sitra Hara, and those their own Yesiat Misraim. Because Yesiat Misraim, removing ourselves from the slavery of Egypt, the slavery of Egypt for our generation, a child came in yesterday, 7-year-old child. He came with his mother to use the dish mikveh. And he came running to me, hugged me, I know him from birth, and asked me a question. He says, Rabbi, my teacher in the Talmud Torah told us that we are slaves. So I asked my mother, what do you mean we are slaves? I go and I live as I please. Nobody tells me what to do. Basically, I get up, I go to the synagogue, I go to the Talmud Torah, I go to the swimming pool, I go. What slave I am? So I explained to him that slavery that the teacher meant is not physical slavery with a whip, kunta kinte, if you remember, or roots, if you remember. We're not talking about that kind of slavery. We're talking about the slavery of the mind, the slavery of the neshama, the darkness that sometimes, God forbid, a person may experience in their own life at different levels: health, emotions, marital problems, financial situations. Each person has its own. So tomorrow we burn the hametz, have in mind, or write them, as I said the other day, in a small piece of paper, the problems, and get rid of them. And Rabbi Haim Palachi says, don't even talk to the person, but pray for the person. When? In the Amidah, in the Beracha of Hashivenu Avinu Letoratecha, which is the second blessing after Atahonen. You pray in your mind, Borei Olam, please, Mr. So-and-so, to separate himself from the Goya. Borei Olam, pray for this girl, so-and-so, to separate herself from a Goy. And Rabbi Haim Palachi writes, and it says, Betir'e Yeshuot. You will see miracles. Perhaps not at the speed that we want. But it says, try this formula. Unfortunately, in these two cases, I don't have 28 days to pray for. We need to execute ICU treatment. So Be'ezat Hashem, Hashem will put the right words to say. Because sometimes you say something and, we feel and I'm sure everybody feels the same way, that just to share with you what I said, it's painful. But you need to be careful even how to talk to the person. Sometimes you're going to attack a person, which it happened to us the other day. When I say to us, it means to the rabbis, that a body was about to be cremated. And you know what the daughter of the person said, why she really wanted to cremate the body of her mother? Because the way someone spoke to her about the grave sin of cremating a body. Baruch Hashem, a miracle took place. And after a lot of TLC words, she agreed to do the burial with one condition. Cannot cost me anything. If it costs me $1, cremation. True story in Miami, 10 days ago. What changed her heart? The way someone spoke. The first two people spoke very strongly. You're killing the spirit of your mother, the whole spiel that you can say. But Shlomo HaMelech says, Divrei Chachamim benachat nishma'im. By the way, I was not the hero of the story. I was not the hero. I was called for help, financial help. And Baruch Hashem, everybody chipped in and we were able to achieve that goal. Things are happening around us that perhaps most of us don't even have a clue what is going on out there. So count your blessings. Pray for extra helps. Lo aleno velo alechem. Let's see. Let's see what else. We went through the night. We went through the morning. We are up to Mincha. So here is the deal. I'm going to pause the class now. And tomorrow morning, Be'ezat Hashem, we'll talk about Mincha of Erev Pesach and some highlights of the Seder. But I would like to go quickly, 1 minute, literally or two, going over the basic preparation. Some of the basic preparations of tomorrow is plan yourself accordingly, that since tomorrow is Erev Shabbat, all preparations for Pesach must be concluded before Shabbat starts. Remember to check the vegetables in honor of the maror, the haroset, the hazeret, all the greens that we're going to use for the seder. Make sure to have enough vegetables. Make sure to check the vegetables properly from box, etc. Make sure, as we learned yesterday, to try to have, at least for the seder, masah shemura made by hand, which Baruch Hashem today, it comes in so many varieties and so many different origins and so many different thickness that makes the mitzvah of eating masah in a palatable and enjoyable way. Men, take haircuts. Prepare yourself, especially since we don't take haircuts at least till the 34th day of the Omer, and some of us don't take haircuts till Erev Shavuot. So plan that as well. When you go to the barber to take a haircut, make sure that you have a short haircut throughout the holiday, and we'll discuss this topic some of the time. And the rest of the details are relevant to the schedule here in Florida, and Be'ezat Hashem will discuss the Seder and the night of Pesach tomorrow. And for those that were asking earlier, if there is a need to do an Eruv Tafshilin, this part of the holiday, no need to do a Eruv, because Shabbat and Yom Tov begin simultaneously. But next Thursday, Be'ezat Hashem, Thursday afternoon, which will be Shevi'i Shel Pesach, in that case, we will need to do an Eruv Tafshilin, because the Eruv is done usually to allow me to cook on Friday, which is Yom Tov, to the Shabbat day. But this first half of the holiday, this situation halachically does not apply. Tizkol Shanim Rabot, Pesach Kasher Besameach to everybody. Please feel free to pick up the Hames form, fill it up, give it to me. The complete schedule from today till the end of the holiday, as well as the complete Pesach guide. And for the listening audience that get the class via email or via WhatsApp, we are going to attach a link so everybody has the relevant information. Pesach Kasher V'Sameach to everyone. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.